Welcome to today's Mastermind call. We have had some positive music this morning. We've had some thoughts, and I've tried to focus those towards resolutions, and that is going to be our theme from our trainer this morning, none other than Christian Sadler. And here is a guy. I mean, talk about resolutions. When Christian and his partners got together and decided to create a team for Renata students and real estate investors in the Utah area and beyond. It wasn't, this would be a good idea. Wouldn't it be great if there was a neat team that was a positive influence in everybody's life? No, he had a positive resolution. This was going to be something that was going to be the cream and the rise to the top. It was going to be an example to people across the nation, across the world, and that's what it's become. And we're so glad you're a part of it. But, we have to thank Christian for what he's done, because it is amazing the success that we've had. He's a guy that knows what the positive changes are, how to do them, and how to lead in that direction. And today to lead us, we've got Christian Sadler. Christian, how are you today, sir?
Great, Ron. How are you?
Fantastic. So glad you're with us.
Well, I am glad to be here, and thank you for all those kind words. And, I really can take very little credit for this team because it is a team. And it all came together through the efforts of many great individuals and the efforts of everyone stepping into their own and taking on, their role, so to speak. And Ron, you've done that in an incredible way. When you first took over these calls, I was really impressed because of how serious you took, getting on here and starting off these mornings right. And I continue to be impressed because you improve daily. So thank you so much for everything that you do as a part of this team and starting off these calls. And I'm really grateful right now for so many things in life, and especially for this team and for this business. And I want to talk to you guys a little bit about this word resolution. So let me flip over here and share my screen. Let's break this down for a minute here. I'm going to move these controls out of my way. Just bear with me. All right. Let's talk about this word. Resolution. Now, some of you guys are saying, it's not even Christmas yet. Why in the world are you talking about resolutions? Well, first thing I want to get out of the way. You don't need a new year to make a resolution. In fact, you don't need a new month. You don't need a new week. You don't need a new day. The only thing you need is a decision. And so we're going to get to that word here in a minute. But let's break down resolution and let's talk about where it comes from. Think about the word resolute. How would you be using that in a sentence? If somebody was to be resolute in their decision, would that be something that they were just going to try? Would that be something that they were, thinking about doing? They were going to, give it a shot? See, unfortunately, because of this idea of a New Year's resolution, so many people make commitments that they're not ready to hold up to, right? It's a good time to own a gym right at the first of the year. So when you're thinking about 2019, I want to tell you something. If you're waiting until January to start into a resolution, the results from it are not going to show up until February or March. And that's if you stay committed. That's if you stay consistent. Now, where does the root of these two words come from? Result. Result. You see, the way that you know you've made a committed decision or a resolution is that there's a result on the other end. So I'd like you guys to stick with me here mentally, but allow yourself to think about your 2019. And if you haven't done this already, it's time. It's time to start considering what has been great about 2018, what can be done better, and what changes you're ready to make. What was great? What could be better? And what changes are you ready to make so that 2019 can be your best year yet? See, I always expect that the year I'm in is going to be my best year yet because it's the only time I can influence. I can only influence the now. So I must act now. So I've started with some resolutions myself, some commitments, if you will, some decisions. Before we move into that, let me talk about the word decision. I'm just actually going to clear my drawing here. What does the word decision mean? Where does it come from? Decision. Easiest way to remember this is think about a pair of scissors coming in here. Because the root of the word decision is to cut off from. To cut off from. That means to cut off from any other alternative. So if we put those two words together, a resolute decision, how do you know whether you've actually made one? What is it that constitutes a resolute decision? It's one thing. Action. Action is a result. Action is the result of a decision, a resolute decision, or a resolution. Now, why am I harping on this so much? Why am I hitting this word? Why am I breaking it down? Why are we going to the root of these words? I think the videos that we started off with, the Bob Snyder video that talked about personal production and committing to your own personal production and not buying into the lie that you're working because you're being available for your team was key. I think with Woody and what he talked about, said what is it that you have done that has not acted in your best interest? Guys, if you want an amazing 2019, it's time to make some changes. It's time to get real with yourself. Now, if your business is exactly where you need it to be, where you want it to be, where you desire it to be, that's great. Stay on that path. If you're seeing steady progress in results, moving in a positive direction, that's good. Probably don't need to change completely. But if you find yourself kind of stagnant, if you find yourself in a position where you're not growing, or worse yet, you're shrinking, it's time for you to do an analysis of where you're at in your business, of what decisions you get the opportunity to make. And it really is a huge opportunity. So some of the things that I've done as I looked at where I'm at and my business and my influence and all of those things is I started deciding for myself, what can I change? What's working well? What could be better? And what changes do I need to make? And I've just started implementing. One of the things that I did, which is something that I'm going to suggest to all of you, is look at somebody in the business and that has the type of results that you want. Now, you don't have to model every part of their life. Please understand that, right? But look at somebody in the business that has results that you want. Maybe they had a huge month in business. Maybe they have, a great real estate portfolio. Maybe they have a good mixture of both marketing and real estate and results with their students, right? And just ask them some questions. Start asking them what they feel like were the fundamental things that have created their results. So I've got to give it up to my good buddy, Nate Lambert. As you guys know, Nate Lambert has had multiple six-figure months, and he's having, tremendous results with marketing and with real estate and with his team. I'm constantly working with his team members and seeing what they're doing, and they're rising in leadership. And I just went and had a conversation with him. And then I looked at somebody outside of the business, and I looked at what they were doing, and I saw, they were getting on these large stages, and they were getting this media presence, and they were, they were making a real influence outside of their own internal network, which I've seen them excel at. I saw them start stretching outside of that. And so I talked to him. I said, what is it that you did? What are you doing? How is it that you've created these opportunities? And as I started collecting this information, I made some resolutions. I made some decisions. I cut off from any other alternative. So, for example, some of you may know that I've recently hired a media and speaking coach, and I spent $10,000 on the opportunity to work with this person. Now, some of you think that because you've spent $20,000 on your Renatus education, your learning is over. And what I'd like to instill in you is that you're always going to be learning. You're always going to be growing. The other thing I did is I decided to launch a team call for those who are participating in my team. Something where I could just give a little extra, right? A little added support, because my time is more and more limited. And when I talk to team members and I find out, if there was, something that I could do better, what would it be? It would be that they would want more of my time. And obviously, your team grows to a certain point that giving that one-on-one, to be able to book one-on-one time with every one of my team members is unrealistic. So instead, I have some set points where people get more of me in a group setting, and there's some set points that can create one-on-one time with me. The other thing I did is I launched into this accountability with my team. So I'm basically leveraging some of the tools that I have to close new combo sales, and I'm adding in some additional accountability for those people who are going to participate in that, who are going to join my team. So these are all things, folks, that I've done in the last 30 days. In the last 30 days, I've implemented some new decisions, some resolutions, if you will. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to give you guys the opportunity to take where you're at now and evaluate. And you're going to do that off of this phone, all right, off of this call, off of this webinar. But what I would like to do is I'd like to have a little bit of interaction to help you guys see where results are coming from right now in the business. So let me go ahead and clear this. And I'm going to need you guys' participation in this. So I need you to either chat in. You can come off mute as long as you're willing to go back on mute to answer. But chat might be the easiest if you're available to do so. Obviously, if you're driving, I don't want you typing in any chat, so you can just tap your unmute and then go back on to mute. But here's what we're going to do, and we've done this before, and we're going to have to kind of speed it up to make sure we end in time. But let's talk about where results are coming from right now so that you can consider in your life, so you can consider in your business what changes that you need to make. So here's what I'm asking for. I want you to think about the last 3 combo deals that have come into your business. Now, if you haven't had 3 combo sales, then just comment with the 1 or the 2. And if you have yet to make a combo sale, that's okay. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to share where you came from, meaning lead source. How did you get contacted? So I'm going to start it off just so that you guys kind of get the idea. And then I'm going to watch the chat and we're going to add up some numbers. So for me, my most recent combo sale was from Warm. Oops, let me erase that. Warm Market. All right, Warm Market. It was actually a childhood friend, a guy that I've known since junior high school. And he's been watching what I'm doing for a long time. He's actually come down before. He said he wants to get started before. But when I launched into this new accountability, and I kind of put that out there publicly and said, I'm looking for some people who are really ready to step up in their business, he said, count me in. Let's meet. I didn't even bring him to a Thursday night presentation. I met with him one-on-one. I sat him down. I asked him some questions to qualify whether he was really committed. And then we enrolled him right there. So 1 for Warm Market. And then next would be speaking. I've had 2. Actually, I'm trying to keep track of when these people came. I'm going to go with 4 because I can remember the last 4. So I had 2 from Warm Market because actually the other combo that came in right before that, and it was right about the same time as these other 2, came from Warm Market as well. Childhood friend, her husband is looking to make a major change. They talked to me, and we got them started with their combo. And then I had 2 that came from outside speaking, from speaking on other people's stages. So this was part of my resolution of why I decided I wanted to speak on more stages, because I already had results there. I mean, one thing you can do with your business is you can say, where am I getting results? And you can put more emphasis there. And so that's what I've done. So I'm going to switch over here. It looks like we got a bunch of chats coming in. I want you to talk about the last 3 or 4 combos. Where did they come from? And how did you enroll them? So it looks like Warm Market. We've got 1, 3-foot rule. 3-foot rule, we've got 1. KSL.com. We have 1. Now, Tyler, do me a favor. You said cold market, but what cold market? When you guys talk about cold market, so all of you guys that are saying cold market, what lead source? So Wanda, you've got a warm market. You throw that in there. Warm market after 1 week, so that's 5 there. Warm market for the Deco. Cold market from Bernadette. Do me a favor. Tell me what cold market source. Esther, warm market. Okay. Tyler, cold market. Which type? Linda, I got you in Guru event. So let's say outside event. Oops. Let me do this. Outside event. So we got 1 there for an outside event. Keep coming down here. Craigslist. Oh, let me go back up. I'm skipping around here. I'm trying to keep it. All right, 3-foot rule. We got another one here. 3 cold market from Eventbrite. Let's get that on there. Eventbrite. And it looks like there's 3 of them on there. So 1, 2, 3, all from Eventbrite. And Rebecca Mead, 2 essentials cold/warm market. So I'll put warm market down here as another one. There's 3 there. And then 2 combo warm market, 1, 2. Oh, that should have been a cross there. And then we had a roadside sign. Road sign. Put 1 there. Craigslist. We don't have that down yet. Craigslist. Put that in there as 1. Tony Robbins seminar. So that would be an outside event. So we're going to put that right there. Chuck from Craigslist. Throw another one on there. Craigslist. 2 combos from roadside signs. 1, 2. And home and garden shows. Okay, so home and garden shows. We're going to call that. What do you call those? I'm just going to say home shows. Okay, so home shows. We got 1, right? Okay. KSL.com, Sherry, that is a website, a media website here in Utah. So it's like a Craigslist, but more local. Warm market, put a 5 there. Sign, put another one for roadside signs, and a meetup group. Let's go meetup. Got 1 for meetup. All right, keep them coming, guys. I'm doing my best to keep them in order. Rebecca, okay, I think I've got you and Tyler together, so we've counted yours, but you had 2 for the home show. So that's good to know. Let me put another one next to the home show. And Wanda, we're going to say Facebook. Even though it's warm market, we'll throw it in there. We can count it just to give people an idea. So Yulani, okay, you're gonna have your first invites tonight. So we're looking for people that have bought. Everybody that's commenting, make sure these are people that have bought, because these are where sales that are coming from. We want to talk about results. And so social media, so Facebook, we'll throw that on there, and then playing cash flow. So Scott, with that cash flow, what does that mean? Are you hosting the cash flow event on like meetup.com? Are you going to outside events? That's what I want to know. And then we got another warm market here. Man, let me do some of this. And then Scott, so another for Meetup. Let's throw this on Meetup. I know I have that in here. Awesome. Okay, well, we're pretty close to time anyways that I got to end this call. But I want you guys to just do these numbers. So here we have 12 that came from Warm Market, 2 from Facebook, 2 from speaking at other people's events, 2 from 3-Foot Rule, 1 from KSL.com, 2 from going to outside events, 3 from Eventbrite, 4 from roadside signs, 2 from Craigslist, 2 from home shows, and 2 from Meetup. And we can add another Warm Market on there for Yulani. So we could add this up to 13 now. 13 for Warm Market. So as you're thinking about your resolutions, your new decisions, how you're going to propel yourself into 2019, here's what I want you guys to think about. I don't want you to think about coasting into 2019. I don't want you to think about, getting into 2019 and gearing up for 2019. I want you to propel yourself into 2019. And what that means is you got to start now. You got to make your resolutions right now. It's time to make some decisions, some real decisions. Some of those decisions might be hard because you're going to have to cut off from things that are not working. Now, in the same amount of time, in this last 30 days, I've made some other things that I felt like were going to be resolutions, and I have to just be honest with you, they weren't. And here's how I know. The committed action that followed. So there was 2 things, if I'm just going to be honest and vulnerable with you guys, that I had the idea of, I really considered, and I thought that they would be great for my business and they would produce results. And quite frankly, I obviously wasn't convinced. And the reason I know I wasn't convinced is because the action that followed through afterwards. So one of those decisions was I considered getting up at 5:30 every morning, at setting a routine for myself. And you know what, guys? If I'm being honest with you, I haven't followed through on that. It's something that I haven't followed through on, and I think it's because I'm really unconvinced. Those are not my most productive hours of my day. Now, will I adopt a better routine? Absolutely. I'm always improving, always adopting. But as far as me deciding 5:30 was my time to get up, it obviously wasn't a resolution, and that's okay. I continue to move on. I make new decisions. I also hired an assistant. I actually brought on my nephew, and I had him working for me and making phone calls. And I have to be honest with you guys. With everything else I have going on in my business, I was not making the time to properly train him. And so as I launched into this new opportunity of speaking on other stages and getting on radio shows and doing that stuff, I had to make a decision. And I had a conversation with my business partner, Steve, and we had to look at everything that I have. And he just said, Christian, I gotta be honest with you. I'm worried about your capacity, because if I look at your time and I add up all you're doing to run this team and run these calendars and organize and, I mean, the list goes on and on. And I look at what you're committing to. I just don't know you have time to do all these things. What are you really committed to doing? Because if you're only giving 10% effort to all these different things, I don't know we're going to get the results that you really want. And I had to look at myself in the mirror, right? I had to look at that conversation and I had to say, you know what? You're right. And I had to decide for myself, of all the things I'm starting, of all the things, what is going to propel me into 2019 most effectively? And I made those resolutions and I moved forward. So it's your turn. Look at 2018. Look at the real numbers. Don't fool yourself. What is your income? What is your results? How many people do you have showing up? What's going well? What could be better? And what changes do you need to make?